So first of all, I want you guys to think of variables as they are boxes. Let's stick with that simple analogy, shall we? I want you to think of variables as simple boxes, and we know some facts about boxes, which are, first of all, the box type. We know that there are a lot of different boxes that may be out there. There may be square boxes, round boxes, small boxes, even large boxes, and so on, right? So there may be different types of boxes, and I just assume that you've seen some boxes in your life, and you pretty much know that they are not all the same and there are a lot of different types of them. Do you agree? So the first fact about boxes is that they have a type. Second, each and every box should have its own name. For example, imagine that you put a sticker on a box to distinguish it from other boxes. A sticker which represents some name for the box, like shoes box, clothes box, a box for books, and so on. This will help you not to mess up all the boxes when you move a house. And that would be the second fact for boxes, which states that boxes should also have a name. Now, what would be the third fact about boxes? We would say that each box may be empty or it may have something inside of it. It may have some content, right? So we can say that there are basically two main situations we can tell about the inside of a box. Either it's empty or either it has something inside of it. For example, a couple of your shoes, some books, and so on. So that's the third fact, which tells that boxes should either be empty or they should have some content inside of it. And the last fact about the analogy to boxes would be that boxes should be stored somewhere. Simply think about it. If you have some box, then this box is located somewhere, right? Either it sits at your living room, at your sleeping room, at the kitchen, or wherever it may be, this box should reside somewhere. And the place where it resides is called the address of the box. I mean, that makes sense, right? And this address may be represented in different ways. For example, if we take a look at our analogy, we can say that a box's address would be something similar to your house address. You specify where you live, in some country, state, city, street, and so on. So just like you specify your address where you live, the same goes for boxes. Each box has some address. And now, once we've introduced the characteristics of boxes, it will be much more easier for us to learn what are variables. In fact, that should be so easy you'll be amazed how much these scary variables that you may or may not have heard of resemble to these simple boxes we've just mentioned. So all of this story, all of this analogy we've just introduced a minute ago is very similar to how we can categorize variables. So just like boxes, we can say that variables can be of different types. We've said that there are different types of boxes in which you are going to put your books or your shoes. So basically for different type of things, different type of stuff, you're going to use different types of boxes, right? So the same goes for variables. Based on the type of the variable, we are going to be able to store different types of data, like integer, real numbers, characters, strings, and whatnot. So next we can say that a variable should have its own name. And we said that a variable is just sort of a box which has its own name because we know that there may be multiple boxes around and we want to be able to identify them by their unique name. So every box has its own unique sticker, and in a similar way we can say that every variable will have its own unique name. Now each variable may also have some content inside of it. Just like you can pack a pair of shoes, shirts, or even vegetables in a box, similarly can be done in variables. You can simply put some contents, some value inside of variable. That's the whole point of variables, to hold some value inside of it. Now, each variable may have some content inside of it. Just like you can pack a pair of shoes, shirts, or even vegetables in a box, similarly you can put some contents inside a variable. That's the whole point of variables, to hold some value inside of them. The variable contents is sometimes also called its value, the variable's value. And lastly, we also know that a variable should have some address where it will reside, right? we need to have an address, some place. Usually it should be a unique place where the variable is going to be stored. So now you know the top 4 features you should be familiar with regarding variables. And in the next short section, you are going to be introduced with the process of using these variables in your programming language. So without any further talking, let's move on to the next video.